hair frosting, not frosted tips, because they're two completely different things. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thanks so much for being here. If you are new, hit the subscribe button, give the video a thumbs up, and don't forget to comment down below on what you think about this video. Today's video is all about hair frosting. Now, don't be confused between hair frosting and frosted tips of the late 90s boy band era. That is not the one we're going for. I know 90s hair has been coming back bigger than ever, but it's more about the definition and the stripiness of it, whereas hair frosting is a much more delicate and intricate way of putting in these lighter pieces. And because we're talking about hair frosting, we're talking about these little frosted pieces that are running through the hair. So whereas the frosted tips were a thing like shoe shine and that back in the 90s, hair frosting takes inspiration from the likes of balayage and ombre, where you've got this multifaceted dimension within the hair. But with the likes of balayage and ombre, balayage meaning the sweep, so you're sweeping a lot of colour into that hair, whereas frosting, when there's a frost, you think of like little pieces of frost just happening, and this is what we're trying to translate into hair. And when we look at frosting, we're looking at cool pieces that sit on top of darker pieces to add that sort of depth and dimension to make it really pop. And when we're looking at frosting, frosting is always cool, it's white, so we're looking at the cooler side or the cooler spectrum of colour. So I've already been doing some of these in the salon. I'll pop up some salon pictures here, but I'll also go into some inspiration pictures of who's been wearing it in celebrity world. So hair frosting is something where we are still going to be sectioning through, and we're going to be putting in these really delicate little pieces. And I think when I started doing it, trying to come up with ways of adding depth and dimension into hair without having to sweep loads of colour in there or take loads and loads of foils, was just looking at maybe bringing down like the amount of foils we put into hair and bringing it back and putting in placements of pieces which would add more of a dimension into a client's hair. This is where hair frosting was born. So when we're looking at hair frosting from a client point of view, what are you going to ask your stylist for? So take inspiration pictures. You can screenshot all the way through this video. I'm going to be putting loads up here of all celebrities who are wearing it effortlessly. So what you want to ask for is you want to be asking for hair frosting, not frosted tips. So just get that straight out there with your hairstylist. What you want to be doing is hair frosting, and the pictures are really going to help. So it's just intricately little weaved pieces of hair, similar to baby lights. It could be similar to like the air touch technique, where we are blasting all that hair away to be left with wafer thin pieces of hair. But with hair frosting, it's just, there's not a load of colour going on here. It's just these little pieces within the hair to add like little light refractions within there to add dimension and sort of like points of interest to be like, oh, her hair looks looks global coloured, but there are these pieces that look sun-kissed, but they're super cool, and the placement just seems to fit her perfectly. And that is what we want to be doing with hair frosting. So you'll be sitting in the chair with your stylist, and then you'll talk about hair frosting. You want to be looking at your skin tone, eye colour, and what makeup you wear. Because if you are going into the salon with no makeup on, but every other day you wear a darker shade of foundation or fake tan, you really want to be talking to your stylist of what will complement you the most, and they'll be able to help you with deciding whether you want to go really cool or just pull it back a little bit so it's a little bit more of a cooler sun-kissed. Stylists, what you want to be looking for inspiration is, again, you can screenshot these pictures, but you want to be looking at the likes of Hailey Bieber, Halle Berry. You have got, who is that one that I'm thinking of? Gone. I'll pop a picture up if I remember who it is. But yeah, we want to be sectioning through. We don't want to be overloading foils. We want to be working between 10 and 35 foils. That's what we want to be doing when we're applying this. And it's basically down to adding these little, like I said, intricate pieces of colour, where it could be a baby light weave, but it could be a weave, leave a bit, leave, weave, leave a bit. So we're creating this dimension within the hair, and we can be glossing the remainder of the hair, which is just to make it look really, really healthy. You could be going a shade darker or working on level. So we don't want to be going too dark because we don't want too much of a contrast. This just wants to be a really cool sun kiss. But what I tend to do is I love working with demi-colours and adding these little reflects of colour. I would be working with Joico 9SB level 9 silver blue toners with a bit of violet to really clean it out. And then if a client says it's just a really nice level 7, I'd be working with a natural ash level or an ash range, an AA range, a blue range, just to mute that any warmth coming through. So what you'll get is you'll get your really cool pieces really popping. So like I said, we've got Hailey Bieber, who is wearing it super cool. Halle Berry. We've got Sophia Richie. That's the one I was on about. So one thing that clients always think when they're thinking of a hair trend, my hair doesn't suit it. Is my hair texture? Is it too frizzy? Is it too thick? And to be honest, is it too thin? Could be that. But with these, this is where we really need to start talking about aftercare, shampoos, conditioners, because I don't know if you clients know, we don't just want to sell you a product just to be like, yes, a sale. We want to be making your life so much easier 365 days a year. And if we prescribe you the best shampoo, conditioner, treatment, styler that we use in Salons, it's going to make your hair really easy to style and go with the trend or the haircut or colour that we're putting into your hair. So when it comes to the thicker texture, the thicker density, people are thinking, oh, am I going to end up with really thick pieces because I've got loads of hair? Or if we're only putting intricate pieces in, are they going to sort of disappear? So that's a case where I said about either 10 to 35 foils. On the thicker density hair, you're probably looking more towards the 35 foils to be able to give you that colour. And if you're working on a thinner density of hair, you'll be looking at about 10 to 15 foils. But that's why I gave you sort of a range to work with different hair textures and densities. Hope that helped. Hope you go to your stylist and ask for hair frosting, not frosted tips, because they're two completely different things. So yeah, I hope this video has helped you understand as a client and as a stylist of bringing the two worlds together, what our clients' expectations would be, and as a stylist, how we are to deliver this service. So when it comes down to meeting expectations, I think that's the biggest thing, meeting expectations. When we're talking to clients and when clients are talking to us, we really need to align. And just a top tip, one top tip today that I would always give any stylist is whenever you're doing a consultation and anything changes mid-consultation or at the end of it, I would then revisit it all the way from the beginning to make sure that there's a verbal contract as such all the way through. So here's an example of what I would do with a client if it ever come up that anything changed. So I'd be sitting there, or they would be sitting there, and I would say, right, so we're going to be looking at the hair length. We're keeping that, maybe just some low layers in there just to soften off the edge, but keep the fullness in the density around the bottom. We're thinking of putting like a blunt fringe in, and then colour-wise, we're going to go a global colour all over. Yeah, I might leave the fringe actually. Okay, cool. So then what I would do is I would then revisit it and be like, right, so today we're going to be keeping that length. You really love the length. We're going to keep the density, but put some low layers in there just to add a little bit of softness. We're not going to put the fringe in. You're happy with how it's sitting, but then we're going to do that colour that we spoke about. Yeah, cool. There we go. So that's how I would visit a whole consultation to make sure that we are both on the same page. So I hope this video has helped. If you enjoyed it, thumbs up, comment down below, and I'll see you on the next video.